Was yeah. Don't do that. I'm sorry that I can't do more. All right, let's keep going.
Citizens who believe Trump's lie that the election was stolen.
It's going to be a great day. It's going to be wild, as Trump says.
But we also see more extreme groups who've gained a following during Trump's presidency. There are followers of the QAnon conspiracy,
drinking their blood, eating our babies,
who believe that Trump is facing down a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles. Q posts often invoke notions of patriotism.
You are responsible for the social interactions caused by the parasocial relationships teenagers develop with you? Dude, what is happening, dude? We got some fucking real weirdos in the chat today,
and predict
dude.
a coming storm.
I literally set boundaries and try to push back against developing like parasocial relationships on a daily basis. And the moment that I do that, people get upset. I think it was a joke, but just for anyone who doesn't realize that that's a joke, anyone who takes that seriously, I just want to make sure that you understand that I do that on purpose.
And ahead of January 6th, some supporters call for violence. The Oath Keepers, a far-right paramilitary group, are also here.
We have men already stationed outside D.C.
Their leader has said the group is ready to follow Trump's.
That guy, Stuart Rhodes, if it's the guy I'm thinking of, has a really funny story where I am almost certain that he has an eye patch because I think he's a gun safety instructor, and I think he took out his own eye with a gun, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look it up real quick. Hold on. Murat knows like people that know him and was telling me about it. Yeah, he's a concealed carry firearms instructor. Yeah, I was right. He literally, he took out his eye while working as a firearm safety instructor.
Trump's orders and take members of what they call the deep state into custody. They're organized, staging their military-style equipment neatly on the ground. And later, they put on body armor, talk on radios, and chat with their supporters on a walkie-talkie app called Zello.
We have a good group. We got about 30, 40 of us. We're sticking together and sticking to the plan. Y'all, we're 1 block away from the Capitol now. I'm probably going to go silent when I get there because I'm going to be a little busy.
Another group is the Proud Boys. They're far-right nationalists who flash.
I love that they have Enrique Tarrio did nothing wrong shirts, and the real reason why Enrique Tarrio wasn't even there was because he was brought in on gun charges the day before, because he's literally a fucking Fed. Like, he's literally an asset for, I guess, the FBI. Like, that's literally what fucking people do to their CIs, okay? They pull out their informants in instances where their informants are probably gonna be faced to do something like that will land them in trouble. It's great. I mean, these hogs, they deserve everything that's coming.
White power signs throughout the day.
Check out all this testosterone.
They became a household name when Trump invoked them during a presidential debate.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
And that's what they did. They have a history of street violence and will be key instigators of the riot. We'll return to them soon. Although the rally is billed as a political protest, some make calls to storm the Capitol even before Trump speaks.
We are going to the Capitol, where our problems are. It's that direction.
And later, when Trump does take the stage,
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Some hear his words as a call to action.
You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Invade the Capitol building.
Do the right thing.
Take the Capitol.
Take the Capitol. Take the Capitol.
Take the Capitol right now.
We'll soon be marching over to the Capitol building.
2 hours before this, the Proud Boys were already heading for the Capitol.
How could they have gotten this idea? Where could they have gotten this idea to march and storm the Capitol? That's so strange. It's kind of interesting the way that they shot this, though. When they put it side by side, it clearly, you know, paints a much better picture.
They're clearly spoiling for a fight with far-left agitators like Antifa, who they believe...
By the way, you know they knew they fucked up because the original counter to this, even though it was like literally indefensible, was Antifa must have done it, if you recall. And that is basically the greatest self-report of all time. Because like, oh, our people could not have done such a thing. It must have been Antifa. As in, what happened there was unacceptable. So that kind of made it a little bit harder for them to go back and then try to defend the actions.
believe are in DC.
Where's Antifa?
But there are moments that suggest another motive.
Take the fucking Capitol. Come on, tighten up. Tighten up, my boys.
Let's not fucking yell that, all right?
They're organised too. Many are marked with orange tape or hats.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys. And those are the boys marching with us. We got hidden guys everywhere.
They're wearing body armour, carrying baseball bats, and using radios.
That's affirmative. Jesse, this is Tucker.
Leading them is Ethan Nordine, who's been entrusted with so-called war powers. He's joined by other well-known Proud Boys, like Joe Biggs, an organiser from Florida, Dominic Pezzola, a former Marine, and Billy Crestman. They will be among the first rioters inside the Capitol building.
Proud Boys.
As Trump is speaking,
They're just having fun with their bros, brother. I didn't know that was illegal. That's what the libtards want. They want to make fun illegal, brother. Unacceptable, let me tell you. They want to take our fun time away. And I fucking hate it, brother. I despise it.
some of his other supporters also head to the Capitol.
Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street!
And the tone is becoming menacing.
We're gonna storm the fucking Capitol. Fuck you, fuckers.
USA! USA!
We are gonna be doing crimes. I'm gonna be doing federal crimes in a moment. Do you understand me? I will be doing felonies, sir. Do you have this in 4K? Look at my face. My name is John Haverton Carlson III. Okay? I'm from Arkansas. Do you understand? I own an HVAC company and I am doing a felony. Okay? Watch me do felonies.
Just ahead, officers guarding the building are understaffed and ill-equipped for what's coming their way.
You gotta stop us!
The building is more than 2 football fields in length, and barricades erected on the east side are defended by just a few dozen officers. The west side, facing Trump's rally, is even lighter. The fencing has been extended, and on the northwest approach only 5 officers stand guard. Around 5 also defend the southwest approach, a few more dot the lawn, and about a dozen officers are
Literally understaffed because they were too busy participating in the fucking insurrection. Oh man. Oh yeah. I fucking love it. Dude, this was the greatest hog content of all time. Like, it was also in many ways perfect because like yeah, liberals say like this is the worst thing that happened. This is like 9/11. I disagree. It was like It was a hog insurrection. So it was content. It was. And it was laughable.
Behind them.
Luckily.
Plans to storm the Capitol were made in plain sight. But the FBI and Department of Homeland Security did not deem those threats as credible.
We will take that building!
Capitol Police leaders and Washington's mayor were warned at least 3 times of violent threats, but also didn't take them seriously or circulate that information. And they declined offers of security personnel from federal and other agencies. They could have enlisted several hundred more Capitol Police for duty on January 6th, but did not.
We are taking our house!
And none of the officers on the barricades have protective gear or crowd control equipment. As a result, the Capitol is sparsely defended. It's 12:50 p.m. and a large group of Proud Boys is with other protesters right by the Capitol Police line.
I got a feeling they believe those 5 officers are going to stop some shit.
Joe Biggs is rallying them when he's approached by Ryan Samsel, a Trump supporter from Pennsylvania. They chat, we don't know about what. But a minute later, Samsel is the first to approach the police line. And it's now that the protest turns violent. Without hesitation, the crowd overpowers the police.
It's just so weird because, like, they talked about how they were going to do this, and authorities knew that they were going to do this, and yet they didn't, like, staff appropriately for this sort of thing. That part is kind of weird to me, and will still continue to be weird to me. That is the suspicious part about this process, is that they just kind of like, just kind of let it happen. Good thing they were white, or else they would have been killed on the spot. I mean, yeah, one of them did get killed, so Ashley Babbitt. The Joe Biden admin wanted it, maybe, lol. The Joe Biden admin that had no power at the time. They weren't in power.
Nearby, a second group breaks through on another approach. Others jump fences. And now hundreds of rioters rush forward on several fronts.
DC is a...
Honestly, it was probably Obabe. It was Obabe's fault, brother. I realize that wearing an incel shirt with gun holsters makes it a little bit more weird. I should probably just wear like my regular K Kona stuff instead of that.
Motherfucking war zone! Fucking war! Forward!
Police retreat to the Capitol building, where it's becoming more threatening. A mob mentality begins to take hold. Police are so outnumbered, they're forced to retreat again to more tightly defend access points to the Capitol. It's now 5 minutes into the siege that the Capitol Police Chief calls for backup from local law enforcement, known as the Metropolitan Police, and asks other Capitol leaders to mobilise the National Guard.
You took an oath! Does that not mean a damn thing to you, does it?
Metro Police...
Yeah, you're supposed to let us in, motherfucker. Took an oath. You're supposed to protect and serve the whites. The whites. You son of a gun. Are the guns out of frame? No, I mean, it's in frame. There's one. You know where I was on January 6th? I mean, you know where I was on January 6th. I was just watching it in 4K with most of you. so many people just sat around in their houses with their families and watched me watch these fucking hogs do all of these things.
Police will arrive within 15 minutes, but for reasons we'll explain later, the National Guard won't arrive for over 4 hours. Meanwhile, more Capitol Police come to reinforce the line. It's the first time we see officers in riot gear. But most are missing their shields because they had not prepared to unlock the storage area where that equipment is kept. Proud Boys like Billy Crestman keep rallying the mob.
Who's the opposite? Do you want your house back? Take it! Take it!
Yes, a fun fact that people routinely forget is that big chunk of the police force are just conservative, straight up.
And again, they start brawling with the police. Minutes later, reinforcements from the Metro Police arrive. A high-ranking Metro officer immediately calls for more backup.
Get you 12 up to help maintain the lines. They're throwing firecrackers.
Oh! God damn, dude, that's crazy. He just lobbed the grenade right.
They struggle to subdue rioters, who respond with their own chemical spray. And within 30 minutes, the police already have casualties.
Multiple capital injuries.
Bro, is it just me? Like, watching this makes me want to play Rust, dude. I don't know if it's because I was playing Rust back then and it's just like making me remember feelings of Rust, like playing Rust, or because like it's just all out chaotic like Rust.
Multiple capital injuries.
This first wave of rioters battling police has paved the way across Capitol grounds for others to follow. And after Trump finishes speaking, thousands more now fill this space. Meanwhile, inside the Capitol, Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence have begun certifying the 2020 presidential election results. Certification will happen on both sides of the building, in the House and the Senate. And this is what the rioters want to stop. An hour into the assault, the mob is battling a police line here.
Yeah. Who can forget when XQC called in to understand what the fuck was going on? And his first reaction was, dude, what did they have like rocket-proof doors, dude? Why don't they put the machine guns, dude, at the doors, dude?
Here, along the west face of the Capitol. But that violence is now going to spread to multiple points of attack, as West Side rioters stream around the Capitol and incite the crowd on the east. Here's what that crowd looks like on the east. They're aware of the siege happening on the west side, and some are emboldened by it. But up until now, they've been kept behind the barricades. Then, this group from the west storms around the building and pushes right through the barriers. The police here barely put up a fight. And it's now that protesters all along the east barricades surge forward. Officers are overwhelmed from several directions. And retreat to guard Capitol entrances. But these rioters believe they've been deputized by their president to stop a crime. And now they start trying to get into the building itself.
remember this happening in real time. It's like a zombie invasion, dude.
The capital is now surrounded. Rioters haven't made it inside yet, but around the time that the mob on the east pushed forward, rioters on the west were making a pivotal move. This scaffolding was erected for the upcoming inauguration of Joe Biden. It covers a staircase that gives direct access to an upper level, and dozens of doors and windows. 3 police lines guard that route. But at ground level, officers are so overwhelmed that just a few cover this crucial access point. Several Proud Boys see the weakness.
These aren't real stairs. They're shadowed over here. Stairs are right there. That opens.
Proud Boys start fighting the police, and with others in the mob, they push through the line. Over several minutes, it's a brutal fight on these steps.
It's kind of funny thinking, like, I mean, this happened 6 months ago, right? And it's kind of wild that that's all it takes for, this guy's a hammer. That's all it takes for people to just act like it was totally normal. And that it's just not a big deal and people shouldn't freak out about it. So much so that conservatives have started getting into the counter messaging around it, i.e., who shot Ashley Babbitt? Why do we not have answers for who shot Ashley Babbitt? Like, they have made out this QAnon person who is a victim. Don't get me wrong. I mean, she was a victim. She was first a victim to QAnon, which radicalized her, and then also a victim to police violence. But now conservatives are making it seem like she was there doing something honorable and defensible. Like, it's wild how quickly we have forgotten.
At one point, the rioters are held back.
I've never seen up close footage like this, though. This is kind of cool to see.
But they make a final push up the flight of stairs. At the top, they scuffle again with a small group of officers.
She deserved it, in my opinion. She had no reason to be there. I disagree. No, I said it back then, and I will say it again. She did not deserve to be murdered, dude. No shot. Yeah. Handcuff her. Okay. Detain her. Fine. No one deserves to be murdered, dude. You guys are crazy. Like, a lot of chatters unironically have the opinion that, like, you know, an instance of police brutality is acceptable if it's done to my enemies. And sure, you might actually have the correct worldview that's more ethical and more, more caring and considerate of marginalized groups versus Ashley Babbitt, who does not. But you're still unironically saying that, like, the state should have the monopoly on violence on people that it decides is bad and should be murdered.
Who give in after barely a minute.
Stop following orders! Stop! You know we're right!
The mob now has direct access to Capitol entrances.
I can't believe this is reality. We accomplished this shit.
And hundreds more protesters below.
Think of all of them. How close to killing legislators do you have to be deservedly incapacitated? Well, what the fuck? How did I just pull the second chat in here? That's crazy. Deservedly incapacitated. Brother, she was murdered. Okay? She didn't have a fucking gun. She was murdered. That's crazy. It's not necessary to like murder someone to defend the congresspersons inside of the halls. Okay? I'm sorry. Ashley Babbitt didn't deserve it. Also was on 17-year-old black girl deserted because knife. If Ashley Babbitt had a knife and was trying to fucking stab a congressperson, do you think I wouldn't defend the cop killing her? Are you stupid? If Ashley Babbitt had a knife and was charging at a person, not even a congressperson, but just like anyone, and a cop shot them, then yes, that would be a defensible police action. Why is this so fucking hard for people to comprehend, dude? I'm so confused. Ashley was grabbing the cop's gun. No, she wasn't. You're making that up. No, she got clapped as she tried to break through the window, as she tried to go in through the window. I watched it live. She got murdered while she was climbing through a window, dude. Oh.
Surge forward.
Let's go! Seize his arms!
It's utter mayhem, and it's about to get worse. The scene is being filmed from countless angles, allowing us to piece together, moment by moment, what comes next. Proud Boy Dominic Pizzola uses a police shield he stole to bash in a window. And at 2
It was the last line of defense. They would have gone in and killed every Dem in there. Dude, you are insane, okay? Like, we don't know that. And also, they did get in. And they stole a bunch of shit and took photos. That's it. Dude points a gun at her, says, "Don't come through that barrier or I'll shoot." Bitch breaks through and proceeds to come through the barrier with intent to harm. Azan, I don't know, put her in handcuffs or something? Yes. I know. It's crazy that I have consistent and firm and held beliefs that the barrier for violent escalation should be when someone is in immediate threat. Okay? When someone is immediately in danger. She didn't have a gun. She didn't have a weapon. She was crawling through a fucking window and she got murdered. And I don't think that that's okay. If you're having a hard time comprehending that, imagine she was black and doing it for her protest against police brutality or something. Not that she was, and not that there needs to be a justifiable reason to protest rather than an unjustifiable one. Okay? But maybe you will understand it. Bad analogy. No, shut the fuck up. Bad analogy, my ass. My point is, you don't need to have, like, what is your take? Wait, I'm sorry. So it's okay to just murder Republicans? Like, what the fuck? Police brutality is good when it's against Republicans? What the fuck? Some of you need to just, sit down, take a breather, and just try to comprehend. I wish you would never, ever talk about black people. We don't deserve this. What? Okay. There's a difference between protesting police brutality and racism and trying to overthrow a government. No, I do understand that difference. But ultimately, the violent action that the cop took there, in my opinion, was too much. Murdering someone climbing through a window is still, unfortunately, unacceptable. When I look at instances of police brutality, I don't look to see what the person's background is so I can decide whether it's a justifiable kill or not. I look to the immediate actions. And the immediate actions within Ashley Babbitt's circumstance was that she was not listening to the demands that the cops were making and climbing through a fucking window. And she got shot for not complying. If she was lunging at someone, whether it be a cop or whether it be someone else with a weapon in her hands, and then she got shot, that would be a little different. We're talking about the lady who got shot on January 6th. Even if the left was sympathetic, it didn't help when the right tried to co-opt Say Her Name slogan, almost shitting on BLM all year. Yeah. No, the cop that shot her was investigated and deemed to be doing the right thing. Is this chat that's supposed to be a bunch of woke leftists automatically going to now say that that's a good thing, that police investigated the matter and found no wrongdoing, so therefore there was no wrongdoing? Please go ahead. Tell me about how cops policing themselves is a appropriate and just situation.
At 2:13 p.m., the Capitol is breached. Michael Sparks, a Trump supporter from Kentucky, is the first person inside. A police officer seems unsure of what to do and backs off. Sparks is followed by Proud Boys and other far-right extremists, one carrying a Confederate flag, another armed with a baseball bat. When rioters break open the locked doors, hundreds more rush in. This is a critical moment. Officers must now defend the outside and inside of the building, stretching them even further. Simultaneous events now happen that are critical to lawmakers' safety. Rioters head.
I get what you're saying, but it's kind of naive. Those hogs wanted to lynch AOC and Ilhan and everyone else. They weren't going to stop until somebody was shot. Like, it's complicated, dude. I mean, but they didn't stop. They did not stop after Ashley Babbitt was shot. So I don't know why you guys keep saying that. They literally did not stop. The only thing that stopped them is when they got fucking bored and tired because they couldn't find any of the congresspersons. They went on and breached the Senate floor after that. So your argument does not make sense. What do you mean they didn't stop? They did in that spot. Okay. But they still, in the aftermath, still breached through the Senate. Your take on Bryant was a defense attorney ass take, but you're right about Ashley not deserving to be murdered? They sure did not go through that door, though. Guys, they still breached through that door. Okay? Not in that moment, but they definitely breached through that door. They were on the other side. There's photos of it.
Straight for the Senate and will be at its doors in 2 minutes. Above them, the Senate is called into recess.
Boss, protesters are in the building. Thank you.
Members will evacuate down these stairs. In this hallway directly overhead the rioters, Officer Eugene Goodman is sprinting to overtake them. He passes Mitt Romney, who he warns to turn around. Reinforcements are following behind. Goodman overtakes the mob, goes downstairs and intercepts them. He holds them off while backup arrives upstairs. Behind these rioters and just feet away is an escape route where lawmakers and Senate staff are now fleeing. Just one officer stands guard. Keeping his composure, Goodman draws the mob away from that escape route to where reinforcements are waiting. He glances toward the Senate and realizes a door is unguarded. Goodman shoves the protester again, lures the mob away, and brings them into that line of fellow officers.
Is that baked Alaska?
Again, the rioters here are convinced.
I don't care what you say for Goodman did a fucking good job. No, I think he did. He did. I remember watching him. I don't know what his name was at the time, but I remember him like literally getting swarmed by these fucking sickos.
Their duty to defend democracy.
Hey, look, takes one to know one, okay? Hogs, kind of good at hog wrangling when the moment comes. You know what I mean?
The officers hold them off here for now. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Capitol, a few political leaders are evacuated.
Hey, guess what, by the way? He didn't murder anyone. I'm just saying, like...
from the House of Representatives. But despite a lockdown alert, proceedings here will resume.
The House will be in order.
We'll go there soon. First, we'll go to the crypt in the centre of the Capitol, below the rotunda. The mob is already at its entrance. If they get through here, they will more easily fan out across the building.
Leftists are defending an insurrection. This is weird as fuck. Wait, what? Defending an insurrection? Are you fucking brain dead, dude? I swear to God, like, it doesn't matter if you're a leftist, liberal, right-winger. Like, some people are just literally have 3 brain cells, and they only fire off on, like, team sports, on the angle of team sports. What the fuck?
Rioters jostle with police here for 6 minutes, and then flood through.
Legit question, why'd you defend Rashard Brooks when he grabbed the cop's taser and ran and fired at him, but won't defend the 16-year-old holding a knife when they could have tasered her before he shot? Because Rashard Brooks was murdered when he was shot from behind. Rashard Brooks was running away. He conversed with the cops for 45 fucking minutes. Okay? It wasn't a police officer arriving on scene that then rolled up and shot him. Rashard Brooks also was not an immediate threat to someone else in the moment that he was shot. What the fuck is wrong with you people, dude? He didn't get shot while he was trying to stab someone with a fucking knife. As a random cop that just like rolled up on a fucking traffic stop decided to murder him. He was running away, dude. I'm so confused. Like, what do you not understand? The only reason why, and oh God, this is, okay. This is the same thing that people do when they like start saying like, oh, you didn't mention trigger warnings. And then all you want to do in that situation is just unlock an argument where your stupid fucking voice could be heard, okay? It's not about actually the efficacy of trigger warnings or anything like that. You're just a stupid baby, okay? And you just want, you're selfish, you're entitled, you just want your own voice to be heard. You are doing all you can to not understand that the top of the hour is here and there's a 60-second fucking ad break, dude. Okay? That's all you're doing. All you're fucking doing, dude. But if you'd like to no longer see the ads, all you need to do is fucking subscribe, dude. Okay? For $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or you can use a fucking VPN or ad block. Here's the ad now. Okay. All jokes aside, I've set the boundaries numerous times. I've set the boundaries numerous times for what I think is appropriate versus inappropriate. You might have different points of view, but a lot of you lose sight of the sake of like moral consistency or something because you see red. And it's annoying. I think a lot of people on the left at the time, even now, disagree with you on your take regarding Bryant. Yeah, I know. They do. Yeah, there are a lot of members in my community that think I'm like racist now because of my argument at the time. The chatter compared a cop who talked to a dude for 40 minutes, then shot him in the back, to a cop arriving on the scene on a teenager with a knife, lunging at another teenager when he's arriving on the scene because he knows that there's a violent domestic dispute going on. Honestly, I didn't expect such a dumb take on this from Hassan. I'm sorry, this comparison of yours is just dumb. It's not the same nuance, dude. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Following since 12 minutes ago. Shooting an aggressive mob member trying to overthrow the government is actually proportional police violence. I don't think that she should have been shot. I don't. I said it at the time and I still maintain that position. I think that maybe they could have fucking caved her skull in with a goddamn baton. Okay? As she was trying to get in. Tased the fuck out of her. But if she actually fucking ran in and was legitimately a threat at that point, then yes, you can shoot the person. If she has like a weapon in her hands and she's about to like fucking attack someone, then yeah. Why is bashing her head in better than shooting her? Because it's one form of crowd control that doesn't involve immediately murdering someone. Okay? That's it.
It's now 2:24 p.m.
It's weird to compare police brutality to an event and an actual literal terrorist attack and a government coup. I won't lie. I think a lot of you guys don't think about this beyond the immediacy. Okay? You think about this as a standalone action that somehow will not justify endless amounts of brutality that the police will subject black people to, and the police will continue to subject black people to, rather. Okay? The justification is that BLM are the real terrorists. That's why the cops get to do all this shit. Okay? Shooting even in an insurrection like this should be literally the absolute last resort, dude.
Some 90 minutes after the siege began, and the mob is about to overrun the building.
Stop the steal! Stop the steal!
As this is happening, and as thousands more swell outside, Trump composes a tweet, not to calm his supporters, but to blame his vice president. He writes, Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution. At this very time, Pence and his family are being taken to safety, along with an aide who's carrying the country's nuclear launch equipment. At 2:25 p.m, there's another major breach on the opposite side of the building, the east side. Rioters have been battling a handful of officers at these doors for almost half an hour. The tide turns when rioters who came through the crypt reach these doors and pull them open. Then an active duty Marine Corps officer, Christopher Warnagiris, keeps that door open for the mob to flood in.
Yeah, we are one of you. Exactly. He's right.
Just as elsewhere, this crowd is a mix of die-hard Trump supporters, but also more organised groups like the Oath Keepers.
So should that cop murder one of those guys, you think? Like, should he have just started murdering people there as they were walking in? Yeah, exactly. That's yeah, you guys literally just want to kill. You just want the fucking fascist police force to you're literally like you just want the fascist police force to murder American citizens that you don't agree with. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's actually great, dude. I mean, that's like, you know, being a lefty is when you know, you take the czarist approach. White nationalism equals disagreement, keg W. Okay. I don't think you should I don't think you should allow the government to just fucking kill people that you consider to be white nationalists, some of which are actually legit straight up Nazis, but still. Okay? What the fuck? How many times have I said that Nazis also get healthcare? It doesn't matter if they're Nazis or not. They get healthcare. This is how this works. Okay?
Just as elsewhere, this crowd is a mix of die-hard Trump supporters, but also more organised groups like the Oath Keepers, who move in formation here toward that east side entrance. The Oath Keepers and their supporters continue to update each other.
Calling violent armed insurrectionists storming the Capitol people you don't agree with is a very five-head take. No, I see the context of the situation. They are violent, and they are insurrectionists. But ultimately, shooting them is not a good idea. If you're mad that they didn't shoot them, you should be livid that they didn't prosecute them. Because most of them got off completely. Okay, they got nothing. I'm in favor of clearing out the fucking rooms, okay? I'm in favor of beefing up security so that they don't even get to this point and using crowd control maneuvers that are actually justifiable in this situation. The way that cops treat Black Lives Matter protests is like literally the one instance where it would be justifiable to behave that way. And yet they didn't do that. So they fucked up there, number one, okay? Number two, they fucked up by letting people in to the halls regardless. Okay? But ultimately, I still believe in the sanctity of human life, and therefore, I think that the best thing to do in that situation is murderous, deadly force as a last resort. Okay? Also, killing them literally turns them into martyrs for their cause. The only time you shoot someone as a cop is if they're actually, like, in the process of directly harming someone. Anyway, let's keep going. They're going to say that the congresspersons were in close proximity to the congresspersons.
On the Zello chat app.
You forfeit life when you invade places. Okay, dude. That's crazy.
There's a recess. We're going to yank them out of their seats.
The group enters the Capitol together. Proud Boys are near them, including Joe Biggs, the organizer we saw earlier. He's entering the building for a second time. The Oath Keepers filled the rotunda along with hundreds of other rioters.
Took over the Capitol, overran the Capitol.
We're in the fucking Capitol, bro.
Now the police inside the building are completely outnumbered and call for backup.
We need some additional squads in the rotunda. It's us versus about 200 people.
Throughout the Capitol, staffers have barricaded doors to keep the mob out. In Nancy Pelosi's chambers, staffers rush inside a conference room and lock 2 doors behind them. Just 12 minutes later,
I will repeat once again. The way that cops actually treat Black Lives Matter protesters are completely unacceptable. Okay? The escalation and the use of force in most of the BLM protests are completely unacceptable. Not because of their political point of view or anything like that, but it certainly is the reason why they behave that way. But this is one instance where they should be using that level of escalation and violent use of force. Because this is an instance where you are supposed to be protecting an area that, at the very least, needs to be cleared out. Once it's cleared out, they're going to fucking go in there. They're going to take photos, arrest all of them after the fact, jail them. Who gives a shit? Fuck them. Okay? As long as the staffers and the congressperson have been evacuated, that should be your main goal. Kettle and corral, baby. What happened? I thought that's what cops do.
rioters outside head straight for her offices and pile in. Huddled together under a table.
Leftism is about, and I hate to just openly say it, leftism is, or being anything beyond like aesthetically a lefty, means that even if you feel secretly deep down inside good that some fucking QAnon sicko got shot, you still have to fight against that urge, no matter how fucking bloodthirsty you may feel at that moment, okay, and see red. Because that's not how you create an empathetic system. Okay? That's the point. You need to be empathetic and you need to be understanding and you need to, you know, push back against your primal urges that scream inside of you like, no, these are fucking psychopathic right-wing terrorists. Okay?
Pelosi's staff record what's happening.
We need Capitol Police, I think. Coming to the hallway. They're pounding on doors trying to find her. Yeah.
One rioter tries to break into that same room. Inside, staffers are silent as they record him pounding. He gets through the first door, but the second door keeps him out. It's a scene that again shows just how compromised the US government has become.
Wait, what? Empathy. Wait, hold on. Ollie, you're such a fucking dumbass, dude. This fucking idiot said empathy does not happen during the violence. It happens after. Yeah. Well, since we're after the violence, then be empathetic, you fucking idiot. How about that? That's the point. Okay.
I think I like my new dining room.
By 2:30 p.m., the Senate evacuation is well underway. But, even though a lockdown was called over 15 minutes ago, the House is still in session.
Do not accept Arizona's electors as certified.
Representative Jim McGovern is chairing.
There was like 11 different instances where that would have warranted kettling, corralling, tear gassing, beating the living shit out of people. You know what I mean? There were plenty of instances where they should have done that. There were a fuckload of bottlenecks, including the one where Ashley Babbitt got shot. I'm not Mr. fucking tactical, but ultimately there were better ways of dealing with the situation than like clapping one of them.
He told us he wanted to finish hearing objections to the election results by Paul Gosar. House staff and security gave McGovern the all clear to continue. It's a delay that likely costs someone their life. Suddenly, staff are now pointing at the chamber's doors.
Please be advised there are masks under your seats. Please grab a mask, place it in your lap, and be prepared to don your mask in the event until we get complete.
Just outside, a mob of 100 or more is baying to get into them.
Well, we came this far. What do you say? Drag them out!
These rioters pay little heed to the thin line of police.
They're going. Yeah, I would just stop. Bro.
And in moments are pushing against the doors into the house. On the other side, Capitol Police erect a barricade and draw their guns.
Boys, I never said that they were trying to have a reasonable combo. I hope you don't misunderstand me. Just for the record, like I know there's white supremacists. They want to do murder. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they want to just have a combo. Okay? So please don't put those words in my mouth.
Guns.
You're a traitor.
On the floor, lawmakers are evacuated to the rear of the chamber, where in a few minutes a rioter will be shot and killed. Part of the mob outside now peels off in that direction to find a different way in.
No, people are running that way.
Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran and QAnon supporter, is among the first to arrive at the rear of the house. They see the lawmakers escaping. That lobby might have been clear had the house been evacuated sooner, but the rioters now become incensed. Zachary Allen, a Trump supporter from Pennsylvania.
Like, that dude, here's what happens there, okay? This is the moment where you fucking whip the batons out, okay? Electrocute every one of these motherfuckers. This is where you start tear gassing, okay? I know they show her getting shot. I know. That is an immediate threat. I don't think he should have been shot, though.
Pennsylvania punches in the glass panels with his bare fists. Police are stretched extremely thin.
$300 hat. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Canada Goose hat, by the way. Canada Goose hat, by the way. Working class, by the way. I mean, you can be working class and have a Canada Goose hat, but just remember that all of these dudes are like small business owners. Not a single one of them are like real fucking workers, because real workers were too busy working to be able to take a fucking week off to do a fucking terrorism vacation in the Capitol. Just hit him with batons, 3 versus 50. You guys make the argument that, like, here's what I don't understand, dude. So, first of all, the cops on the other side shot them, just for the record. The cops on the other side. There's cops on the other side of the fucking speaker's lobby door. That's who shot them, not these guys. So if you think that, like, there's a problem there, if you think that there is, like, an issue there with the way that these guys would have handled it, then they shouldn't have shot. These guys couldn't have shot them either. You get that, right? So you can't make the argument that, like, one of these guys should have shot them. Why? They would have been overpowered if they did that as well. And then their guns would have been taken away from them, and then they would be using those guns. Like, you're making up hypotheticals in this situation. So dangerous to shoot in there like that. He could have hit a fellow cop. They probably would have.
Just 3 officers and a security staffer stand guard. None are wearing riot gear, and they keep their weapons holstered.
It's fucking nuts that this was like... It's nuts that this is the little amount of security that they had.
When a team of heavily armed police now arrives, the 3 officers step aside.
Go! Let's go! Get this shit!
This creates a crucial gap that allows rioters to smash in the glass. A warning, what happens next is graphic. It's 2:44 p.m. and behind the door,